Tonight, a crash halfway around the world hits home. A plane filled with aid workers and UN officials goes down. 18 Canadians among the dead.
Yesterday was with you here, today they're no more.
Questions now about the 737 MAX. 2 crashes in 6 months. Is the plane to blame?
I 100% believe he died because of his work.
A series of suicides on one of Canada's largest forces. Did Ontario's police do enough to protect their own? And the Sunday interview.
Thank God, I'm so stubborn. We're going to do this, and it's going to be fantastic.
Sarah McLachlan broke ground by putting female artists in the spotlight, and it's still paying off. This is The National. The weather was clear, the plane was new, the pilot experienced, and the route routine. Tonight, global grief and so many questions about what brought down Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302. 157 people, all lost, 18 of them from Canada. Among the Canadian victims, a respected scholar and African studies professor, a mother and daughter on a family trip to Kenya, and a young delegate on her way to a UN conference. The Nairobi-bound plane crashed just outside of Addis Ababa. Now the work of identifying the remains, which will take time. Little of the plane is left. Debris is everywhere. Tonight, how the victims are being remembered. We'll look at the model of the plane itself and what another recent disaster might tell us about this one. But we begin with Kayla Hounsell, who has the latest on the investigation.
An excavator combs the large crater, searching for buried pieces of the airline. Little remains beyond scraps of metal and shreds of clothing, indicating just how hard and fast Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 came down. It came directly from the sky downwards, says this witness. We heard a huge explosion. There was no fire before it crashed, but once it crashed, we saw a huge cloud of smoke. The plane, carrying 149 passengers and 8 crew, took off from the capital, Addis Ababa, at 8:38 a.m. local time. It was headed for Nairobi, but within minutes, the pilot, who is believed to have been very experienced, sent a distress signal. He received clearance to return to the airport, but just minutes later, the plane came down in a field about 60 kilometers from the runway. Family members rushed to airports in both Ethiopia and Kenya, desperate to find out what had happened. Robert Mutunda was waiting for his brother-in-law to arrive from Canada.
We see people coming out. We were sure our relative was going to come out. After a few minutes, we saw some news on Facebook.
Passengers from more than 30 countries were on board, including 18 from Canada, some believed to be traveling to a major United Nations environmental meeting scheduled to start tomorrow in Nairobi.
We need to make sure that their relatives and friends who are meeting them at Nairobi Airport, who are supposed to meet them at Nairobi Airport this morning, are supported in the best way possible in this time of anxiety.
State-owned Ethiopian Airlines is widely considered one of the best and safest airlines in Africa. After receiving the aircraft, we did the first maintenance check on February 4th, says the airline's CEO. It was a new and clean aircraft. The plane itself, a Boeing 737 MAX 8, the same model involved in another deadly crash just 6 months ago. 189 people were killed when a 737 MAX 8 flown by Indonesia's Lion Air plunged into the Java Sea minutes after takeoff. While it's too early to say what caused this crash, Boeing has issued a statement of condolence and sent a technical team to help with the investigation, all while emergency workers continue with the grim task of identifying the many victims. Kayla Hounsell, CBC News, London.
We're getting a sense tonight of just how deep the loss will be felt here in this country. David Common now with what we're learning about the Canadian passengers.
Ethiopian Airlines is the gateway for Canadians to Africa, a rare direct option from Toronto's Pearson Airport. On Saturday, Edmonton's Amina Ibrahim Adoa stepped on board with her 5-year-old daughter, Sophia Abdul Kadir, a March break trip to visit family. Now both are gone.
When I gave them the names, and they said, oh, we can confirm that your sister was on flight ET302.
She leaves behind two other young daughters, one who has not stopped crying. Muhammad Ali is her brother.
So I called my mom, and it was very shocking for her too. So it's such a devastating news, and the family is really coping with it.
On their long flight from Canada, both were on board with a group of Canadian parliamentarians. As mother and daughter dashed for a tight connection to Nairobi, MPs like Rob Oliphant had already reached their destination.
They're the type of people who would be a great loss if indeed they were on that flight.
We caught up with him today in Ethiopia as he thinks about who was on board with him before transferring to the doomed flight.
You're counting on good weather, good pilots, and good aircraft, and you assume it's going to be fine. You do think about the fragility of life, and you do think about the interconnectedness of human beings.
It is now known that Carleton University professor Pius Adesamne is among the dead. He spoke to CBC nearly a decade ago.
Just throw me out there into a maelstrom of activities, at least here in North America.
The man celebrated by faculty, now being remembered by his students. He wanted to know our dreams and ambitions. He told us we were capable of great things. Calgarian Derek Luigi leaves behind a wife and 3 children. Tonight, his family spoke out.
Derek loves people. He likes to see what is good in that person. He seeks for that one and he connects with that one.
Then there are young adults like Danielle Moore, who just posted en route to the UN Environment Conference in Nairobi. I can't wait. At Nairobi's airport, there would be no reunion today. Instead, diplomats, including Canada's ambassador, raced to the crash scene. Almost 1 in 8 of the passengers on board the plane was Canadian. After notifying families, the difficult task now is returning their remains home. David Coleman, CBC News, Toronto.
So many of the people on that plane had dedicated their lives to helping others in need. It was full of humanitarian workers, a plane load of potential. The United Nations says at least 19 UN staff members died, 7 from the World Food Program, 6 from the UN office in Nairobi, along with staff from the Office of the High Commissioner on Refugees and 5 other UN organizations. Also on board, the founder of the Italian humanitarian organization that partners with UNICEF, as well as a Norwegian Red Cross worker, a child protection specialist with Save the Children, and a worker with World Eye Cancer Hope who took care of sick kids. While we don't know what caused today's crash, there are similarities between it and last October's Lion Air crash. Both planes were brand new. Both struggled to maintain altitude and speed on takeoff. Tonight, China has ordered all its Boeing 737 MAX 8s grounded, and Cayman Airways says it's pulling both of its planes from operations for now. Briar Stewart now takes a closer look at the plane itself.
When commercial airlines started flying the Boeing 737 MAX 8 in 2017, they rolled out splashy promotional videos, boasting about the latest technology and comfort. But now, after 2 crashes, there are questions about what went wrong again.
As pilots, we automatically go back to the Lion Air crash and go, wow, let's just hope it's not the same thing.
A Lion Air flight plunged into the Java Sea in October, just minutes after takeoff. 1 week after, Boeing issued a safety bulletin to airlines, advising that a sensor error could cause the plane's nose to dive down and outlining how to stop it. This aviation analyst says it's too early to tell why the Ethiopian Airlines flight crashed. While it could be the same mechanical issue as before, he would be surprised if it was.
After the first one, the authorities, Boeing and others issued some stern information and warnings to all airlines that fly this airplane. This is what could happen, and if it does, there's a way out.
Family members of some of the Lion Air victims have launched lawsuits against Boeing, arguing that the control system was faulty and not enough was done to inform pilots. After Boeing issued that safety bulletin, airlines, including Canadian companies, updated manuals and in some cases offered additional training. In a statement, Air Canada says it currently has 24 in its fleet, adding these aircraft have performed excellently from a safety, reliability, and customer satisfaction perspective. WestJet says it has 13 of the MAX 8 aircraft. In a statement, the company said, "We're monitoring the situation closely."
I know the first time I flew on the MAX, both my first officer and I had to take pause to remind ourselves of where things were.
Dennis Tager is a captain with American Airlines and is with a pilots union. He says before flying the MAX 8, the only additional training he had was watching an hour-long tutorial on an iPad. But after the Lion Air crash, pilots received more instruction. He says he's confident the plane is safe and says he's eager to know if anything can be learned from the Ethiopian Airlines accident.
I can assure you, out on a line today, there's someone that is pre-flighting a MAX right now, and the captain's talking to their first officer. Hey, did you hear about the tragedy this morning?
Along with all the questions about why a second brand new Boeing plane could suddenly and so violently crash. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Vancouver.
Boeing says it will work alongside local officials in Ethiopia and the U.S. National Transportation Safety Board just to figure out what happened. Now to a fifth estate investigation into the Ontario Provincial Police. That's Canada's second largest force. Since 1989, 35 active or retired members have taken their own lives. In the same time period, 23 officers died in the line of duty. So that makes suicide apparently a bigger risk than dangerous criminals. These revelations come as the force is already dealing with controversy over suggestions of political interference in the search for a new commissioner. Mark Kelly, co-host of The Fifth Estate, picks up our story.
As turmoil over who will lead the OPP continues to swirl over the force, so does the specter of suicide. Last summer, 3 OPP officers died by suicide in 3 weeks. That sparked an investigation by the Fifth Estate. Did the OPP do enough to protect its officers? That's a question the acting commissioner still can't answer.
We're taking apart every one of those files individually, case by case, to see what it was, what impacts what. Is there a connection? Is there a culture? You know, the Ontario Provincial Police, like any other police agency, is a paramilitary organization. That needs to kind of change in time, too.
38-year-old Joshua de Bock was one of those 3 to die last summer. He had mounting job stress after transferring to a forensics unit that exposed him to suicides and autopsies. His wife, Lon, says she has no doubt his job pushed him to his death.
I 100% believe he died because of his work and because of how he was treated there and neglected.
Psychologist Lara Sigurdsson treats many OPP officers struggling with job stress. She says they'll keep quiet about it to keep their jobs.
So we can have all the programs in the world. If no one's going to, if the climate doesn't even allow me to say, struggling over here, it's useless.
More OPP officers have died by suicide in the past 30 years than in the line of duty.
But my investigation shows they are failing, and the results are frankly tragic.
7 years ago, Ontario's Ombudsman Andre Marin urged the OPP to establish a program that focuses strictly on suicide prevention. The OPP still doesn't have one. And since that recommendation was made, the Fifth Estate has learned 12 more OPP officers, both active and retired, have died by suicide. The acting commissioner says mental health programs have been put in place, but concedes more needs to be done.
We want to look after our people. We want to have the right things there for them. Constantly working on what else can be done. What do we change? What do we do?
Lon de Bock feels her husband didn't get the psychological support he needed in the days leading up to his suicide.
Do you feel still like you're still part of the OPP family?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Because I have questions about and concerns about circumstances around my husband's death that I've been asking since September. And I have gotten no answers yet.
I cannot give you a good answer, and if anything, I need to apologize to her.
Lon says the OPP failed her family, and she's losing hope someone will be held accountable for her husband's death. Mark Kelly, CBC News, Toronto.
When Ontario's former ombudsman raised the alarm over suicides, he pointed to the Montreal Police Service for a possible solution. The force adopted a prevention program in 1997 in reaction to 14 suicides over the previous decade. All units received formal training on how to identify the risk. The result, a 79% decrease in officer suicides. To Ottawa now, where the Conservative leader is urging the Prime Minister to lift what he calls a gag order on Jody Wilson-Raybould. The opposition wants her to appear again before the Justice Committee. And Andrew Scheer has a new tactic. Today, the party launched an online petition for Canadians to pressure Justin Trudeau to, quote, let her speak.
He must allow her to speak, and let her speak freely and fully. No conditions, no restrictions. The full truth. Today, Conservatives have launched www.letherspeak.ca. It's a website where Canadians can tell Justin Trudeau just that. Lift the gag order on his former Attorney General, end the cover-up, expose the truth, and let her speak.
It's been a tough weekend for the Prime Minister after Liberal MP Selina Caesar-Chavannes told a reporter that Trudeau took the news of her leaving politics with hostility. Two other female MPs then posted comments supporting him, nearly identical comments. Justin Trudeau has always listened to the voices of women, even changed his mind after hearing the views of the Women's Caucus. Today, the Prime Minister's office said MPs speak for themselves. Jody Wilson-Raybould was a prominent female cabinet minister, yes, but of course she was also a prominent Indigenous cabinet minister. So we asked the CBC's Cam McIntosh to see what the SNC controversy could mean for what Justin Trudeau calls the government's most important relationship.
At this gas station, a status card gets you 12 cents off per liter. It's one of Winnipeg's busiest. With each fill-up, it's not hard to find disappointment over the rift between Justin Trudeau and his former Attorney General, Jody Wilson-Raybould, his caucus's most high-profile Indigenous talent.
It means that there's clearly an issue that needs to be discussed.
It's kind of question mark at this time about the reconciliation anyway.
For many Indigenous Canadians, Trudeau's promises of reconciliation drove up Liberal support. For some, Wilson-Raybould embodied it. Through all of this, Trudeau has insisted reconciliation is about more than one person. That's where these Saskatchewan chiefs still see promise.
I think the Liberal government is looking right now, in light of the recent events, to have a win with First Nations people, and this is the opportunity.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here in Iqaluit.
As he apologized to Inuit over historical tuberculosis treatments on Friday, Trudeau reaffirmed a commitment to reconciliation.
We recognize, of course, that there is always much more to do.
Last week, Trudeau's former principal secretary, Gerald Butts, revealed that Wilson-Raybould was offered Indigenous services, but declined, saying she couldn't administer the Indian Act, legislation she had fought her entire career. This Métis leader says that doesn't hold water for him.
She had a chance to use all of her skills and expertise to actually maybe abolish the Indian Act.
Back at the pumps, some agree with that.
That's a good step because of her experiences.
As for Trudeau's reconciliation efforts, Long Plains Chief Dennis Meaches sees a glimmer of light.
I think the signal was in some ways given to Indigenous people with Jody's decision to run for re-election as a Liberal.
A relationship certainly strained, he says, but perhaps not broken. Cameron McIntosh, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Now for some of the other stories we're watching on The National tonight, let's go to reporter Renee Filippone in Vancouver. Renee.
Well, Adrian, we start with a scare on board a plane closer to home. Severe turbulence injured 30 people flying into New York's JFK airport from Istanbul. Passengers suffered cuts and bruises, and a flight attendant broke a leg.
What I saw on the tape, what the children were subjected to do on the tape, is sickening.
An update on the investigation into singer R. Kelly. This man says he found a tape allegedly showing R. Kelly abusing what appears to be underage girls. The tape has been turned over to police. Kelly is already facing 10 counts of aggravated sexual abuse. He's pleaded not guilty.
Okay, thanks for that update. Renee Filippone in Vancouver. Now, still ahead on The National, she broke ground for Canadian women in music Sarah McLachlan is our Sunday interview. But first, a new kind of iron curtain, the internet law that has Russians taking to the streets.
If there's a picture of our president and it says that he's a liar, and I agree with it, but I won't repost it because I'm afraid.
I think this law is the point of no return for us, really. If it's going to pass, Russia, as we know it, is going to change to the worst massively.
Okay, so that's the organizer of a huge protest in Moscow today, one of the biggest in years, voicing his concerns about proposed new controls there on the internet. So new legislation would allow the Kremlin to build basically an online firewall around Russia, ostensibly to keep foreign hackers out. But as Chris Brown reports, critics say this is really all about stifling dissent from within.
In Moscow, thousands chanted, "Hands off our internet," as they pushed back against what they claim is a new online iron curtain that the Putin government is trying to put around Russia.
The internet is all we have. That's the only place where we can expose corruption, police brutality, where we can actually get to know what's going on in our own country.
The main sponsor of the internet legislation is former KGB officer and now parliamentarian Andrei Lugovoy. He's wanted for murder in the UK for the radiation poisoning of ex-spy Alexander Litvinenko. Lugovoy claims the goal is to protect Russians in case of a hostile cyber attack and to prevent fake news, but opponents see more sinister motives, such as to limit the exposure of critics, such as Alexei Navalny. Millions of Russians have watched his exposés on the lavish lifestyles of the Kremlin elite. And what happened when you posted that tweet?
They take me from my flat and going to court and to jail.
Sergei Boyko spent a month in jail last year for posting a single tweet about an upcoming Navalny meeting, and he fears more censorship is coming.
Internet is the last place for us where we could criticize freely.
Anna Bainakova says she's already scared about what she posts.
If there's a picture of our president and it says that he's a liar, and I agree with it, but I won't repost it because I'm afraid.
Passing a law to cut off the outside internet is one thing. Actually having the technical means to do it is another. And there are many here who doubt Russia has that ability. Russian tech expert Stanislav Shakirov told us via Skype that while it would take Russia up to 10 years to create its own standalone internet, the new laws could help Russian authorities restrict Western sites and block communications between Russians internally to thwart domestic protests. Chris Brown, CBC News, Moscow.
Still ahead on The National, giving new purpose to old churches, what people are doing to hold on to a piece of history. And she's a role model for young Canadian female artists. The Sunday interview with Sarah McLachlan is next.
Back when I was just coming up, there was a real old school male attitude that you couldn't put two women back to back on the radio.
Listen to that. That's one of Canada's biggest music stars, paying it forward. She's performing with singers from the Sarah McLachlan School of Music, an outreach program that gives instruction and mentorship to kids. It's just one way that Sarah McLachlan has opened doors for younger artists, especially female artists. Tonight, in our Sunday interview, McLachlan speaks with Andrew about that and more as she prepares to take the spotlight on a national stage.
There's no doubt Sarah McLachlan is one of Canada's most celebrated singer-songwriters.
I'll take your breath away.
She sold over 40 million albums, but her biggest impact may have come from challenging the very same music industry that made her a star. In 1997, she founded Lilith Fair, an all-female music festival that was considered a radical idea at the time. The tour helped change attitudes then and remains relevant in today's Me Too era. But first, McLachlan is about to embark on a new challenge. A week tonight, she'll take the stage as host of the Juno Awards. I met up with her in Toronto. Sarah, very nice to have you here.
Thank you. So good to be here.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
It's very exciting.
It is.
Can I tell you the thing that surprises me most about you hosting the Junos? That you haven't done it before. That this is your first time.
This is the first time they've asked me.
How is that possible?
Yeah. What the hell?
yeah. Aren't you angry?
No, actually, I honestly think if they had asked me earlier, I would have been too afraid to do it. For most of my life, I've been absolutely terrified of public speaking. I know that sounds ridiculous because I get up in front of thousands of people and sing. It's a very different thing to stand up in front of a room of strangers and have to, give a certain number of, the right kind of information, deliver it the right way. See, even now I'm being ineloquent when I'm trying to explain it. It's baffling to me.
Are you stressed out?
About this?
Yeah.
No. My initial thoughts were thrilled and terrified, and they kind of went back and forth. And I was like, oh, this scares me. I need to do it. I need to challenge myself. And at this point in my life, I'm like, this is going to be fun.
On the subject of artists and growth, as you put it, I think of the spectrum of Canadian musicians today, and particularly young Canadian women.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have Alessia Cara, you have Jessie Reyes, Ruth B. What do you think of where Canadian music is now in 2019?
I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see young up-and-coming artists gain international recognition, not only gain success in Canada, but on the world stage. I think it's a beautiful thing. I think we have a wealth of amazing talent here. And the Junos is a great opportunity for me as an artist who often lives a bit under a rock to come out and see what's happening.
And can I put you on the spot? Are there
Sure.
standouts that, in your mind that you think, oh, this person is someone I'm really excited about?
I am in love with Alessia Cara. Like, I just think what she stands for. She's a really good writer. She's just fantastic. Shawn Mendes, I think he's lovely. But again, this is the artists that have gained a lot of success. I'm looking forward to meeting new artists who I am not yet familiar with and seeing where they're going.
If there is success out there, it is in large part because of the stage that you built. And I want to ask you about, what I think of as a culturally defining moment in the 90s. And I bring it up because it's something that I think still very much has relevance now. So, Lilith Fair, do you reflect on what that festival that you helped co-create? I mean, do you reflect back on what that proved to the world?
I think I have moments of reflection when it's brought to my attention. Moments where a young woman, 37, 38 years old, a couple years ago, came up to me and said, I came to the very first Lilith Fair concert with my mother, and because of you and all those other women up there, you showed me that I could do anything. I'm now the CEO of a corporation. Those moments, those are so beautiful. So yes, I do have opportunity to reflect on it.
Shows that the women have power in the music industry. It gives you a lot of, inspiration.
I had so few female role models growing up, and I think it's really nice to see so many young women out there just loving what we're doing, going, wow, I can do that too. Those were amazing times. I'm so incredibly proud to have been part of that, and to think that that may have paved the way for other artists to move forward and to be able to live their dreams. It's a beautiful thing.
And for those people who may not be familiar or don't remember, I mean, remind us how difficult it was to be a woman in music.
Well, it's difficult to be in music. That being said, I think it's difficult to be in any career. But back when I was just coming up,
There was a real old school male attitude that you couldn't put two women back to back on the radio. You certainly couldn't have two women on the same bill if you were touring. And it was sort of, it wasn't even an unspoken rule. It was just kind of there. I'd go into radio stations and they'd say, oh, well, we had Tori Amos this week, so we can't add you. Or we added Tracy Chapman this week, so we can't add you. And I'm like, we all make completely different music. I don't hear you complaining about Soundgarden and Pearl Jam and not putting them in the same radio station. So it seemed like a real double standard. So in wanting to put on something like Lilith, I had already had women opening up for me.
Living in church.
And certainly with the promoters we had a previous relationship with, they're like, this could work. But all the guys who didn't have a relationship with us in a business way looked at that and went, you can't do that. Absolutely not. This will fail. And the words of my mother ringing in my ear, you can't do this, you will fail. That's how I was brought up. And
That's what your mother said to
pretty
you.
much, why would you even try? Why would you bother? You will not succeed. So I grew up fighting against that. I had something in me that wanted to prove her wrong or prove myself right. And when someone says that to me, you can't do this, I'm like, oh, really? I can't? Well, I'm so stubborn. Thank God I'm so stubborn. I'm like, I'm gonna prove you wrong. We're gonna do this and it's gonna be fantastic.
Okay, so here's where I want to link past with present, because if you fast forward to 2019, the age of Me Too, also an age of defiance in a way. Are you heartened
Absolutely.
at the fact that it's happening, or is it a little bit depressing to think, my gosh, still fighting, different decade?
You know, it takes centuries to change, to truly change a societal mindset. And we, as women, over the past 50 years, have gone from barefoot in the kitchen making babies to running corporations. And it's been a massive seismic shift for us. And men have just had to sort of get in line and keep up. Yet, you know, the primitive brain, what we've grown up with and what our history and the deepest sense of our bones tells us is that men are in charge. They've always been. So we get to fight against that now. We have the power to fight against it. And thank God for Me Too, and thank God for women finally being able to stand up for themselves and start to feel that power that they intrinsically have. And I'm happy about it because we cannot be complacent. We can't rest in our laurels and think, oh yeah, it's equal now. You talk to, before Me Too, you talk to some young girls coming up in high school and they're like, oh yeah, we don't have to worry about that. Everything's cool, everything's equal. It's so not. We've got such a long way to go. And this may sound shocking, but you know, Trump paved the way for all of this. His horrible behavior and the fact that it was accepted by so many people pissed women off to the point where we finally had enough and we had to do something about it. In a way, you know, all his terrible behavior has brought all these atrocities to light as well that needed to come to light in order for us to start to heal and move forward. That takes time. It takes a lot of time for that kind of change to happen.
I want to end on one more question for you. What motivates you now? And I think musically, right? I mean, whatever it is it the same thing that motivated you, you know, 30 years ago?
I'm going to say yes. It's the desire to grow and change and embrace those changes and find a way through. You know, I'm excited for 2019. I'm excited to challenge myself, to host the Junos. I'm working on a new record. So I just look forward to everything. It's beautiful to be alive and healthy right now.
Well, it was wonderful to talk to you. Sarah, thanks so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Still ahead on The National, from sacred to secular, how communities across the country are giving churches new life.
You've had people just knock on the door and be like, I got married in this church, can I see what you're doing? And it's sort of, at first it was like, I guess, but now it's like, yeah, sure, come on in, you know.
Here's a look at a story we'll have for you tomorrow night on The National. We examine the legacy of Tina Fontaine and how a community in Winnipeg is fighting to keep other girls like her safe. Here's a preview.
For Samantha Chief, Mama Bear Clan isn't just about stepping up. It's about honoring what Tina Fontaine's story did for other Indigenous women.
She finally opened a lot of people's eyes, you know, to all the bad things that happen to us Aboriginal women, you know. We're people too, you know. We're not just pieces of trash you can throw away. We have value to others. We're not who they portray us to be. We're not all streetwalkers. We're not trying to just do this because it's our choice, you know. It's just we're people. We need to be honored and loved just like regular people too, you know.
Welcome back. Here's a look at a couple of stories we'll be watching this week on The National. With Venezuela's nationwide blackout entering its fourth night, the government ordered all schools and businesses closed tomorrow while it tries to revive the power grid. Opposition leader Juan Guaido said he'll be asking the National Assembly to declare a state of national alarm. And that is British Prime Minister Theresa May leaving church with her husband this morning, where she may have prayed for some help with Brexit. On Tuesday, the UK Parliament votes yet again on her plan to leave the European Union. If it votes yes, Brexit will happen on March 29th. If it's a no, there will be a vote on leaving without a deal. A no again, and May will ask lawmakers for an extension on the Brexit date. Now, Theresa May obviously wasn't the only one in a house of worship today, but truth be told, some are struggling to stay afloat. Many have already closed. Nearly a third of these buildings could vanish from the landscape, according to one estimate. But people are fighting back with novel schemes for raising money and repurposing churches. The CBC's Bonnie Allen begins with a conversion, and not the religious kind.
Leaving city life behind to move to a small prairie town can be intimidating.
Sometimes it can be really, you know, oh, like, who are you? Why are you here? Kind of thing. And we'd be painting outside and people would drive by and be like, good job, guys. It really was like a, oh, wow, like, we like this building, but these people love this building.
Victoria and Will Sutherland bought St. John's Anglican Church in the town of Indian Head 5 years ago. It was not a religious quest.
Completely non-religious, didn't grow up in a religious household.
But they enjoy the irony.
We spend more time in church than anyone that we know.
Is it this one? The couple just wanted a unique home, so they fixed up the basement, moved in with their daughter Elizabeth, and then began a mammoth renovation.
All right, so this is the main part of our church. We've got the framing in. I've started doing some of the insulation. We still need to do electrical and plumbing.
It's our way of keeping some of the heritage, keeping some of that history, culture of Saskatchewan.
St. John's Anglican Church struggled for years with a shrinking congregation and rising maintenance costs. It was deconsecrated in 2007. The town of Indian Head used to have 11 churches and parish halls. Today, just 4 still operate. The others torn down or sold off. Just west of downtown Ottawa, those seeking ancient Anglican rituals still gather at St. Luke's for a traditional Sunday service. The church downsized years ago, giving up half of its building to make room for apartments. Reverend Victoria Scott still worries about the budget and generating revenue.
The pews that once filled this space where we're sitting right now weren't full, and so a decision was made to remove those pews and to have movable chairs instead. We can just make our way into the sanctuary.
Now the priest can rent out this space to pay the bills. It's a good example of how to adapt, says Robert Pajot. He works with the National Trust for Canada on a project to save old church buildings. Pajot says there are 27,000 faith-owned spaces in Canada, and a third are in jeopardy.
In the next few years, the next 5 to 10 years, which is 9,000 buildings across the country. So every community in the country is going to see this. Neighborhoods are going to have multiple churches closing. So some people qualify this as a crisis, and I kind of agree. It is going to hit everybody.
As we make our way down into our basement, this is St. Luke's Table.
St. Luke's Table is a soup kitchen and a day program for marginalized people. It's largely funded by the city and covers utility costs.
What I love about it is that it's a way of responding to a very definite, deep, and crucial need in the neighborhood, but it's also a way of maximizing the use of our space.
Other churches have diversified in more extreme, more lucrative ways. This Anglican church in Montreal has partnered with a circus cabaret. People pay to watch acrobats swing from the high ceilings, and the church fills its coffers.
For some groups,
If a church cannot survive, Robert Pajot lobbies to give the building new life as a concert hall, library, or bar, just not demolition.
They're important to fight for because they're part of the fabric of our cities and our neighborhoods.
It's going to be a challenge to try and keep the integrity, but
Back in Indian Head, Victoria and Will Sutherland know restoring the building won't be easy or cheap. They have to replace 37 windows, install a second furnace, and fix the church bells.
Nothing. Door's not working either.
But they hope people's connection to the church will also become a connection to them.
we've had people just knock on the door and be like, I got married in this church. Can I see what you're doing? And it's sort of, at first it was like, I guess, but now it's like, yeah, sure, come on in, like if people have an emotional connection to this place and they're thankful that we're doing what we're doing, I feel almost obligated to let them into our space because in a sense it's their space as well.
Bonnie Allen, CBC News, Indian Head, Saskatchewan.
Up next on The National, imagine walking into a restaurant and realizing that bronze statue on the wall is actually you.
When I first walked in there, it was a little bit dark, and I just noticed it was a racehorse with a rider on it. And as soon as we got closer, I realized it was one of the bronzes that my mom had done.
What happened next is our moment. But first, in case you missed it, a legendary boxing gym is in danger of disappearing. Sully's has been in business in Toronto since 1943, in its current location for a decade, but the peak of fame came in 1966 when heavyweight champion Muhammad Ali came to town for his historic bout with Canadian icon George Chuvalo.
I remember the day that Muhammad Ali arrived to train at Sully's gym.
It cost Toronto boxing fans $1 to watch Muhammad Ali train, and his gym was always crowded.
The cars on both sides of the street, you could tell there were a lot of players there, heavy rollers. And then out comes Ali, followed by Big Jim Brown, Howard Calisell. And the crowd starts chanting, Ali, Ali. It's the most electrifying time that I've ever seen in the city of Toronto, and it happened at Sully's gym. It's an iconic place because of that.
There's an aura to this place. You walk in, it's like coming in, walking into a temple. And, you feel it inside of you. I came in here in 1966, and I haven't left.
Now, Sully's needs a new home in a city where rents are notoriously steep. The current landlord has given Sully's until Friday to move out, so there's still time for this old champ to rally. Sometimes what you're looking for is right in front of you. That was the case for Alberta's Roy Sturgeon. He'd spent years searching for a bronze statue his late mom had made of him riding a horse. He couldn't find it anywhere, and then he made a stop at Huckleberry's Cafe. He'd been there a lot. But this time he sat in a new section, and that made all the difference. What he discovered is our moment.
Well, we went for lunch at the restaurant, and as we walked into the restaurant, it was sitting on the back of the booth. And as soon as we got closer, I realized it was one of the bronzes that my mom had done. She was a professional artist for years and did lots of bronzes, and she made a few different racehorse ones over the years. There's a couple that she did, one of me just standing, another one of a couple horses that I used to ride, and then there was this one, but this one I did not have. I've been looking for it for a long time. My mom passed away last fall. Once I told him the story and, you know, and told him the history of it and stuff, yeah, he was very interested in giving it to us. It'll just stay here forever in our collection. It was just pretty overwhelming to find it and actually be able to take it home with us.
And to find it in a place where he'd been before. I don't know if it's a matter if he put his phone away and looked up and saw it for the first time, but his mom, who unfortunately passed away, was, as he said, a great artist, you know, and her work went global, which is why it's been really hard for him to find what he was looking for. That is a national for March 10th. Good night.